Welcome back to my masterclass on Unreal Engine 5 for filmmakers. Today we're going to go over how to import 3D objects into your level and where to source those 3D objects from. So we're going to go ahead and open up our Unreal Engine 5, and we're going to go ahead and pull it up here. We're going to open up the project that we have been working on. Okay, so once we have our project open here, we're going to go ahead and get to the level we've been working on. But for me, I'm going to go ahead and start a new level. So we're going to the top left, and then we're going to press on new level up to this new level with a blank platform here, which is great, perfect for what we need. So first off, we're going to go make sure that we have all the tabs open here that we need. For this intended purpose, we're going to make sure that we have a content browser. So if you don't have a content browser at the bottom, you can go to the top and you can go to Window, and then you can go to Details, or go to Content Browser, and then you can go to Content Browser and select whichever one you want. Usually just Content Browser 1 will work. And it should pop up with something like this over here. Go ahead and take this down here at the bottom left-hand corner. Select content drawer and press dock and layout. Pop that up right there. Okay, so those are two options to get that up. So once we have this level open here, we're gonna go ahead and start sourcing for our 3D objects, right? I like to go to a website called Sketchfab. So let's go ahead and open up our web browser. I use Chrome, so I'm gonna do that. But I suggest you can save it in your bookmarks tab, so that way you can always go back to it. So we're gonna go ahead and type in Sketchfab. Should bring you to the screen like this. So save it as a bookmark. You're gonna go to the top right and press this little star, and then you can save it in the JSON bookmark folder. It should appear up here. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and type in the search bar. We're gonna download a simple model. And then once we have this populated, we're gonna go up to the top and click downloadable. Okay, that's gonna designate all of these models that we are now able to download. These filters out all the ones that you can't. And we're gonna go and scroll down till we find the house that we're gonna use. We're gonna use this old house right here. If you don't have this, it doesn't pop up for you, find something equivalent, it will work. This is a 3D model we're going to be importing. You can rotate it, check it out, look what it looks like, see if it's, something that you like. If you're doing a different project, this is definitely useful to be able to just see exactly what you're going to be importing. So let's go ahead and go down. This is something we want. We're going to go press download 3D model. The most important thing is to look for FBX or OBJ file. Those are the only files that you'll be able to import into Unreal Engine. If it's anything other than that, you're going to have to go ahead and transfer that into a FBX or OBJ. So it's really useful to just download an FBX or OBJ file straight off the bat. So you're going to click the download in the blue. I already have that downloaded. Once you get that downloaded, it's going to ask you to extract the file. So you're going to go ahead and do that and extract it into a JSON folder that is going to be able to allow you to organize it correctly so you know exactly where it's going to be. Okay? So you're going to go ahead and want to do that. And once we have that here, we're going to go back to our Unreal Engine 5 platform. We're going to go to our content browser here, and we're going to go to the bottom left-hand corner, click on the content browser in the content folder. Okay, left-hand corner of your content browser, it should have these little arrows with sections that will bring you back to the content. Just click on that and it'll bring you straight back to the content browser if you're not already there. All right, once we have this popped open, as you see, I have a lot more files than you guys, but we're going to go ahead and make sure that we just going to create a new file exactly for 3D models. So how do you do that? You're going to go ahead and press left-hand corner of the content browser and go down to new folder. You can also an empty space inside of your content browser, naming your content browser. And the most important part is when you're naming your folders, you don't want to add a space because it won't let you save that folder. If I do this here, if I add a space in between this, it says a folder may not contain the following characters, and that includes spaces. So if you want to add a space, you can add an underscore or a dash, and that will separate the words for you. Once you have that made, double click on it. You're going to make another folder, and you're going to make a folder for the old house that we imported. So I already have one open, so I'm just going to click on this here. As you can see, I already have the items imported, but to import these items into here, you're going to right click, and then you're going to go to import /3D model, okay, /old house. That's just the folder, okay? And we're going to go find our specific old house file. Should have saved it somewhere where you can remember. I've saved it under my 3D models folder, so that way I can have all the 3D models in the same place. And I have it under Unreal Engine and 3D models, okay? And I'm going to look for old house. Here's old house, okay? when you open up your old house folder, you're going to want to go to source. Okay, that's important. Go to source. It will look blank like this. Double click on that. Once you double click on this, if you want to import this in the different options, just make sure build nani is checked. For me, I've already imported it, so I don't need to do that. And now it's going to close down. It's going to populate these items in here. It's not going to populate your textures yet. So what you want to go ahead and do is to get the textures in, and we'll go over the texturing in a later course. But for today, so you have all the items imported, we're going to go ahead and right click again. Then we're going to go back to old house folder, and we're going to go to textures. Click on the first texture here, hold down the shift button, then click on the last texture, and then we'll highlight all of them, and then press open, and then it will import them all into your game here, and you'll have all of these textures right here. Now, we'll go over later how to turn a texture into a material, so that way we can isolate that and go over that into detail. But for today, we're just going to show you how to add your 3D model into the scene. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to click on the first static mesh. Okay, it's going to have a blue label for it, a light blue label. The first static mesh, and you can hover over it and it'll show you in parentheses right beside it, static mesh. We're going to click on the first one, hold down shift, click on the last one here, drag your mouse into the scene, drag the item into the scene, and drag it on to wherever position you want to put it on this map. And then you just let go. Now, this is important because this 3D model is multiple pieces. And as you can see, like a white blob, it has no texture to it. And that's fine. That's how it's supposed to look. And if your camera is moving too fast, go to the top right-hand corner. Click on the little camera icon and then reduce the speed to 2 or 3. It usually is like a pretty good place so that you can be able to move around the scene and not be zooming off so fast and so far that you can't even like look at exactly what you're doing. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and adjust this to the ground level here of the map. And as you can see, we have a nice 3D model imported in the scene of this house. Okay, the next step we're going to go over is how to apply textures to this house and how to convert those textures into materials. So that way we can make this look a little bit better. Another important step that we want to make sure as we're going through this process is how do we get all of these parts to stick together, right? Because as of now, I can move this part and it's not sticking together with the rest of the house. There's a few ways to do it. Okay, I'm going to press Control Z. So if you've moved it, press Control Z until it's moved the element or the material back into place or the static mesh back into place. So how do we do that? How do we link them all together? Okay, so there's two ways to go about it, depending on what you want done. If you want something more permanent where you're not going to be able to move the individual pieces ever again, you're going to go over to your outliner. And yours might be over on the right-hand side, but mine's on the left-hand side. So find your outliner, go down to the house static meshes actors. Okay, as you can see here, it will label it pretty clearly. Okay, we're going to find box 001. So 1-box 001 should be the first thing. You're going to go all the way down to 1-shape 002. We're going to click on this first thing up here, and then we're going to hold down shift and click on the last one, right? It's all highlighted now. All the pieces are highlighted and see. On all the highlighted objects, okay, it's going to pull up this bar here, and you can click on group the selected actors, or you can press Control plus G, all right? I'm just going to press on this. What has this done for us? It has grouped our actors. So as you can see, it created a group actor in our outliner. But you can click on this and now they're all attached together. And the only downside here, press Control Z again, is that when you click on any of these, they're all grouped together. You can't edit each individual one anymore. You can't change the texture easily. How do I change that? Like, I just want to be able to have everything attached. And what if I just click on one? I just want to move that. Well, that's a great question. So what you're going to do is let's go ahead and click on this again, the group actors, all right, or click on any object. We're going to right click again, and then we're going to go down to groups and we're going to press ungroup. Okay, we've ungrouped these objects now. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and find the static mesh that we want to attach all the other objects to. This is going to allow us to control each and individual item, but it's still going to allow you an anchor to attach it to. So that way you can control the entire house without having to click on every individual piece to move it any longer. So we're going to go ahead and find 1-box 001. That's the item I picked. It's the walls. So we're going to find that. That is our target here. Let's go to the one below it, 1-object. Click on that. Then we're going to go ahead and go down to the last static mesh here of the house. We're going to add 1-shape 002. Let's press Shift and then click on 1-shape002. It's going to go ahead and highlight objects here for us. Everything but 1-box001. Let's go ahead and right click, go to attach to. Let's find 1-box001. Here it is right here. Static mesh. This is our guy. This is the walls. This is what we're going to control. Let's click on that. And now it has attached all the adjacent items we just had to this wall, right? To the walls of the house. So now what can we do? We can control it here. We can move it any way that we want. And if you're trying to change it from a movement within a location of the scene, so right now I have the rotation on, you're gonna go ahead and just click on the item you want to be able to move, then press the space bar. This right here changes the size, okay? If you click in the middle of this here, make sure all of these are highlighted. All the axes are highlighted here. It's going to do that. If you just click on one angle and highlight one angle right here, see one of these, let's click on the red one, make sure that's highlighted, then drag it out and in. It's going to change, obviously, the width of the house. It's going to change how wide that is. All right, so let's just then press Control-Z, get our house back to the proper element. And once we have that completed here, we're going to go ahead and press spacebar again. Now, what is that doing? That is enabling us to now move it along the different axes, right? And then you want to get back to rotation, press the spacebar again, and now you can go ahead and move the house around. So that is how you import a 3D model. That is how you move it around your scene. And hopefully this has provided you a little bit more context on exactly how you're going to be able to utilize 3D models in Unreal Engine. And the next class, we're going to go over exactly how to apply textures to your 3D models. So that way you can make it look more like the house that you saw when you downloaded it. And we're going to go into detail exactly how to do that. So thanks for watching. I'll see you guys at the next one.